Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Friday, December 22nd. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you are someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this would be a video for you. Real quick, a couple of clarifications. First off, this candlestick here will still be moving around. That's because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one, ticker symbol MULN. And what a monster move today. Now, very quickly, before you think you got absolutely rich, there was a reverse split that happened, and that's just a manipulation of the share structure. So this was a penny stock before today, but after the reverse split, it is no longer a penny stock. But nonetheless, even with that, all being stated, very, very impressive move. I mean, I think it started off down here below $8 and then made a move all the way up here. I mean, very, very impressive move. And as of now, it's holding up very nicely. In fact, has now created a good solid pattern here. So you got to think a lot of people are going to be watching this general pattern here moving forward, which I would call a bull pennant. So let me get this drawn into play here. So I'm drawing to this just broadly speaking. So red line, green line, and then let's just keep it all one color and maybe make it easier to see. So we have our red line resistance, green line support, and then you have the big explosion right here. And then if you golfers out there try to make it a little bit more visual, put a golf hole down here. This would be known as a bull pennant pattern. So while nothing is guaranteed, is it plausible? Is it valid that if the price were to be able to turn itself around, come up there and break up through it, that break could create additional buying pressure? That is certainly a plausible outcome. So if you like bull pennants, you like this price range, certainly keep an eye on it. Next one, ticker symbol SMFL, and big pullback here, but within this pullback, the price is now entering a very interesting location on the chart, and that has to do with both these lines right there, the pink line being the 200 period moving average, purple line being the 50 period moving average, and you can see that both these lines are essentially at the same exact level, and to add in a little bit more credibility to this general area down here right around that 96-cent mark. Now, maybe you don't like 96 cents, but that is a previous breakout point. But like I said, it's up to you to figure out what you would feel comfortable with. But my point here is that generally speaking, this area right here becomes plausible to think, could the price come down here, find some support, and then head back up? That seems like a potential reasonable outcome. Of course, not guaranteed, but reasonable, and that's why risk management matters. But if you are somebody that likes to play pullbacks, you like to try to get in at areas of support, then you have a lot of different dynamics down around here that could qualify as support. Not to mention, this whole pullback is occurring on very, very low volume, and as any volume analysis textbook will tell you, that's what you want to see. You want to see big volume on breakouts. You want to see lower volume on consolidations and pullbacks, and then that's what you have here. So again, to reiterate, there are no guarantees that it would bounce, but it certainly provides us, opportunity to structure a nice little risk-reward scenario. Next one here, ticker symbol NIO, and this will mean a little bit more to those of you that watched yesterday's video, but if you did, talked about how that level had become an area of resistance at 822, but you can see right here, the price is now actually back above that level. So my main question moving into Friday is, can the price create more separation? Yeah, it's above it, technically speaking, but it's not very far above it. So, and supports resistance levels, they do have a range element associated with them. And in my mind, it's still within that range. So like I said, that's where my question comes into play. Can the price actually get more separation to the upside? And if it does, well, then at that point, I would feel a lot more comfortable in saying, yeah, this has been a good, solid breakout. So I'll concede that it has been a breakout, but in no way would I say that this is some sort of very solid breakout. But like I said, if the price can separate more to the upside, that would be a good sign in that regard. Next key level of resistance, though, going to be that purple line right there, 50 period moving average. You can actually see it's already acted as resistance a couple of times right there. So keep an eye on that. But all things considered, you got to give credit where credit's due, considering that it closed at lows and has now worked its way all the way back up to there. Good, solid move. But again, can this move continue into Friday? Let's see what happens. Next one here, ticker symbol PRZO. And first thing that needs to be done here just to make the chart look, make a little bit more sense. But for those of you that did watch the previous video, talked about that area right there as resistance, and then foundational rule in charting states when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support. And then that makes this make so much more sense because check it out. Nice move up, pulled back, but look right where the price started to go sideways and found support, literally right at that previous breakout point. So a classic example here and one you could throw right into a textbook. So truly a fantastic example of that resistance now acting as support. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that level there. So moving forward in terms of ideal levels of support, meaning what would make the chart look the strongest and healthiest going forward, certainly if the price can stay above that green line right there. But from more of the overarching standpoint, keep an eye on that purple line right there, 50 period moving average. You'll want to keep an eye on that keyword there being moving. So as time goes by, that line will move itself higher and higher. So as long as the price stays above that level, then from the overarching standpoint, the bulls remain in full control. In terms of areas of resistance, the level that stands out to me in terms of, the next key level will be right there at $1.70. So keep a close eye on that from a resistance standpoint. But all in all, higher highs and higher lows, and that's the name of the game when you care about building those overall uptrends. Next one here, AMC, and another very, very rough day, especially when you consider the markets as a whole actually had a very, very nice day today. They recovered from their lows, but this one still was putting in those newer lows. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that level. And then first update, when levels of support are broken and closed below, they tend to act as resistance. So the newest area of resistance moving forward is going to be there at $6.20. So to give a little bit of credit, I mean, there is a bit of an upwards move right here. There is a bit of an upwards channel. And if that continues, then yeah, the question mark is all about that 620 mark and can the price break above it. However, with that being said, even with the upwards channel, when you consider what happened before that, this big move down, all that I've drawn here is a bear flag pattern. Now, don't get me wrong, just because there's a bearish pattern does not mean for sure the price is going to go down. Just like if there's a bullish pattern, doesn't mean the price is going to go up. But would it be shocking? Would it catch people off guard? If all of a sudden the price was down here? No, that would just be a technical breakdown of that bear flag pattern. So overall, very rough day for AMC. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online web class that I'm offering. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box, or if you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage that you can click to get signed up. Now, one special note, it is a genuine live event and it's happening this evening. So maybe you already have something on your schedule. Maybe you're watching this Friday morning and you totally missed it. Go ahead, send me an email and I will gladly send you a link to the replay. But all I ask is it's a little patience, please, because it's first got to happen. And then after I get it uploaded, I'd be happy to send you a link to it. But if you can make it live, then certainly get signed up and I'll see you here in just a few hours. Next one here, ticker symbol BETS, and big mover here today. And let me take a step back. It was a big mover, but more so from where it was at its low. So started off down here and has now worked its way all the way up to that area. So good bounce. That does lead to the question of, but is this the start of an even bigger move? Is there any sort of genuine power? And I have no idea if there's any sort of genuine power, but we can make answering that question very straightforward by focusing on that level right there at 0046. So we are talking about a sub-penny stock right now, but 0046 is important because, and I'm not saying this will occur, but if the price were to come down here and then drop below it, what would you have at that point? You would all of a sudden have the price having gone right back to where it started. I mean, not to insult your intelligence, but price movements that make big moves and then go back to where they started, not exactly a sign of genuine strength. But to be fair, no price can go straight up. So maybe the price comes down here, but in this situation behaves like that and then curls back upwards. Now all of a sudden, what would you have? Well, you'd have a set of lows there. You'd have a low right there. And if you envision each of those as stair steps, now you have stair steps making progress in the upwards direction. And that's what a truly strong move is all about. Not going straight up, but just showing signs of progress. And again, in this situation, the quote unquote sign of progress is staying above 0046. In terms of levels of resistance, key level to watch there, just going to be all about that purple line there, 50 period moving average. But yeah, all things considered, from where it was at its lows, good solid move. Is this the start of something bigger? Is this a healthy move? Let's see if the price can continue to show signs of progress. Next one here, HOOK. And yeah, to start off, you got to give and just kind of acknowledge that throughout the course of the day, there was a pullback here that happened. Like I said, you can't refute that. And this is where things get a little hard from a presentation standpoint because there's a lot of perspective. I mean, if you're some sort of day trader, flipper, scalper, whatever you want to call yourself, and you were buying right there and your plan was to buy and sell within 12 minutes, well then yes, from that standpoint, the chart looks really, really bad. But if you do care about the big picture point of things, then yes, you're going to say, well, sure, the price has been pulling back. There is a downwards channel. But you would also care about what was going on before this downward channel. And you'd say, well, the price was way down here and now it's all the way up there. Meaning what I've just drawn here is a bull flag pattern. Now remember AMC, I talked about the bear flag pattern, same general idea here. Just because it's a bull flag does not mean the price is going to go upwards. But my point here is that would it shock anybody if all of a sudden this thing turned around and then started to get some upwards move? No, I don't think that would shock anybody at all. But point here being is if you like penny stocks, you like bull flag patterns, definitely keep an eye on this one. Next one here, TSLA Tesla, and all things considered, very, very impressive turnaround. I mean, market closed right there at its lows on Wednesday and now has gotten all the way up there and it's currently doing battle right there at that 50-period moving average, which I talked about previously as an area of resistance. So it makes sense why the price is kind of currently, putzing around right around this area, because that you would expect it to act as a resistance, and that's what's happening right now. Does not mean the price can't break above it, but it does mean that it just makes logical sense why the price is all of a sudden struggling at that level. But if the price can push up above this current level of resistance, again, that purple line, next key level is this overarching level of resistance that I've talked about previous times before, and it's become a very stubborn level, but one hurdle at a time. And like I said, first hurdle right there, and the next hurdle up there, that trend line at that level. In terms of levels of support now, key level to watch it, I would say, definitely needs to be held right there at the 250 mark for that reason that we talked about already. If the price were to come down here and then break down below 250, you'd have one of those situations where now all of a sudden the price is essentially right back to where it started, which, as we've established, not exactly a sign of genuine strength. So you want to see 250 hold if the price were to roll back over. But all in all, nice bounce today. We'll see if it can build that momentum on Friday. Next one here, ticker symbol MARA. Been tracking this one on a very routine basis. And once again, we have higher highs as this is broken very, very nicely out through this trend line. You can see earlier on in the day, the price got rejected right at that red line that I put into place previously. But then late day got the break. And then you can see the rest of this history has continued to grind higher and higher. So all in all, very nice. I'll go ahead and get rid of that level. And I'm going to just adjust this area of support up to now being one of the newer levels of support. And that sits right there at 2250. And whenever, assuming you're bullish, of course, whenever levels of support need to be adjusted in the upwards direction, that is definitely always a good sign. In terms of levels of resistance, nothing fancy here. Just a question of where did the party finally stop today? And that was right up there at about 25.15. So keep an eye on that. But all in all, higher highs and higher lows, and that's what matters most. Next one here, ticker symbol TQQQ, which is an ETF that measures the NASDAQ market. So if you believe the NASDAQ market as a whole is going to rise, this one will also rise. So it makes it a very popular ETF. And we have a very, very interesting dynamic here. Like Tesla, we have the price bouncing nicely, but you can see it is caught up right here at this purple line, which previously from earlier on in the day, it also struggled. So the big question mark on my mind is this some sort of double top? Is this thing getting ready to reverse right back over? Now, some people are saying, yeah, absolutely. That's why I'm going short or buying puts or, whatever you're doing. Other people are saying, no, I think it's going to break out. I think this thing is getting ready to head back upwards. Both of those are completely valid thought processes, but that's why risk management matters, because somebody's going to be right, somebody's going to be wrong. But the common theme here is that you have the price now behaving and acting like it wants to struggle right at that purple line. Again, last time the price was at that purple line, down it went. Does that mean that for sure guaranteed the price is going to head down here again? Of course not. As we've established, there are no guarantees. But like I said, I think this purple line here is going to be watched by a whole lot of people, myself included, because that is going to be an important dynamic here. So is this some sort of double top? Is this thing getting ready to roll back over? Friday is going to be a very, very interesting day in that regard. So that wraps up the top 10 list. Again, if you like what you saw here, then definitely go get signed up for that free class. But if you can't make it for whatever reason, then like I said earlier, go ahead and send me an email, clay@claytrader.com, and I'd be happy to send you a link to that replay after the event is completed. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy these, please do two things for me. Hit that like button, leave a comment below, say hi, say Merry Christmas. Tell me what you traded today. Give me your watch list for tomorrow. But those two things help out the channel, help out these videos, and I really do appreciate it. So go get signed up for that free class. Thanks for watching. Take care. Have a good one.